Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/ProRevenge. In today's episode, don't stick to our agreement, you shouldn't have been stepping out. You want a maintenance action for every paint job? Got it. Well, you never said not to wear orange. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Don't stick to our agreement, you shouldn't have been stepping out. Okay, so I tried to post this on r/PettyRevenge, but it immediately and inexplicably got deleted. I guess it was a bit too much to be petty? So I'm posting it here instead. Here we go, strap in for a long one, kids. This is a story from long ago in a galaxy far away. And by that I mean it happened 3 years ago at a pizza place I used to work. I was a delivery driver for 6 years at various pizza places, picking up and moving on to greener pastures whenever it suited me. Granted, that only happened a couple times, because I am unfortunately a very loyal employee. To be honest, I should have done that before this whole thing ever even happened. The store I was at was part of a nationwide franchise, and the waters had gotten choppy. All of the managers quit at once, and they just couldn't seem to get one to stick around. It got so bad that the area manager had to come in as acting GM, and brought a manager from another store with him. These two are the main characters of this story. Well, besides me, obviously. For the purpose of this story we'll call them Jeff and Kate, and I'll just be me. Jeff was 45, and had been with the company for a long time before I started, worked himself up from the position of driver all the way to being the one to oversee about 20 stores. He was actually married to another area manager. I got along okay with Jeff for the most part. On the other hand, Kate and I got on like a house on fire, both being ladies of a similar age. She often confided things in me that she would soon bite her in the ass, figuratively. I considered myself a decent employee as far as pizza slingers go, came to work on time, did all of the dishes, got along with everyone, and had the best delivery times. Because of this I usually landed all the best shifts, including opening on Saturdays. If you've never worked a tip job, you know that shift is the most coveted out there. Working through both the lunch and dinner rush before going home is well worth having to get up earlier. That information is relevant to the story, trust me. You see, there are always two drivers who do that shift. One comes in earlier and leaves earlier, and I was the one who got to come in just before we flipped on the open sign, and went home once dinner rush began to die down. This is also relevant. The final vital bit of info you need for context is that my brother goes a bit wild at Christmas. His favorite thing to do is book an entire movie theater for everyone he knows to see a movie of his choice. This particular year was when The Last Jedi came out, and he is a Star Wars fanatic, so that was what we were going to see. Unfortunately, it would be at 6 on a Saturday, at least 2 hours before I would get off. At this point Jeff and Kate had been with us for 3 months without managing to find suitable replacements, and I made an arrangement with the other opening driver to switch shifts because his ended right when I would need to leave to make the movie. I then cleared it with Jeff and he agreed to let me go at 5:30. I was all set. Or so I thought. You see, that Saturday we started busy. Very busy. So busy that at 5:30, when I went to hand Jeff my slips, he had already dispatched me out on a double delivery. I took them, but reminded him that I needed to leave when I got back. I just hoped the trailers were long enough that I didn't miss much of the beginning of the movie. I got back from my double, and by that point it was already 6, and the theater was 20 minutes away. I had to leave. Once again I went to hand my slips to Jeff, but he got in my face. "You leave when I say you can leave," he told me. "You're not going to let me?" I asked, incredulous that he was reneging on our deal. "I came in early. I did my time, damn it." He looked so very smug. "No." Well, I made a decision right then and there. There are so many pizza jobs out there that they needed me more than I needed them. I took my slip book, you know, the kind that you see in restaurants. I found they're great for delivery, because not only can you store all of your slips in them, but they're hard enough for customers to bear down on to sign. Anyway, I slapped that in his hand and said, "Fine then." I quit. It was his turn to look incredulous. After making sure I meant it, he checked me out, and I left the store fuming. I missed the entire opening of my movie. But the story doesn't end there. Oh no, you remember how I said Kate would confide in me? She loved to tell me all about how often she and Jeff would meet at a hotel after work. She even horrified me by telling me Jeff would turn off the cameras so they could have sex in the back office when the store was empty, in a chair I had sat in multiple times. Kate was even so obliging to give insignificant details like the date and time this happened. So I put in an anonymous call to the franchise's HR and told them what to look for when it came to checking the tapes. I told them everything Kate had told me. But I still wasn't content with leaving it there. So I went to my local pizza place that just happened to be in Jeff's wife's area. Remember when I said she was also an area manager, and I got to gossiping with the workers there while they made my pizza. I was well aware it would make it back to her. Food employees can't keep such juicy gossip to themselves. Jeff got demoted to store manager, then transferred to the same store in his wife's area I went to so she could keep an eye on him. I guess it didn't work out because last I heard Jeff's wife divorced him, and he no longer worked for the franchise. And none of that would have happened if he had just let me leave on time. You want a maintenance action for every paint job? Got it. I was reminded of this malicious compliance after reading Leban the Great's piece about reporting damage. Excuse any formatting or language issues on mobile, and I went to public school in the US. This happened while I was at my second command in the Navy. I am an aircraft structural mechanic, AM for short. We work on the aircraft body, tire and wheel, hydraulics, and any paint/corrosion issues. At the time I was a second-class petty officer, think shift supervisor. I ran the command's paint shop on nights. We had a good system worked out with our maintenance control. They are the guys that direct all of the shops to ensure that one group isn't jacking an aircraft while another needs to be inside it, where I would take care of prep work throughout the week, make sure we had stencils cut, get paint from hazmat, and then Friday nights we would run through all of the touch-up paint jobs for 2 or 3 jets throughout the week. I would also be writing up maintenance actions, like a work order for different spots we found on the jets, usually trying for at least one in each area with a different paint color to account for the paint usage on the plane. Come Friday night everyone else would leave early and my guys, one body from maintenance control, couldn't do work without them, one from maintenance admin, needed to complete our maintenance action, and myself would stay and paint the jets so they would have time to dry over the weekend. We were usually out by midnight, sometimes 0100 at the latest. This worked great for almost 2 years, then we get some turnover in maintenance control, and a brand new chief. Think the worst middle managers you've ever dealt with, but with a gut and a coffee mug, decided he knew the best way to run my shop. Let's call him Chief Know Nothing. Monday night began with me being called into maintenance control. Chief Know Nothing told me he was implementing a new system. Every paint job now required its own maintenance action. His requirements were, if it wasn't connected by the same color, or was more than 6 apart, it was a separate action. I tried to explain how this was a terrible idea, but it was shot down. He had made up his mind, and starting this week I was to write up every spot I found as its own job. As a quick aside, this is a tactic used by Navy leadership to get more bodies under them. If the workload he is in charge of doubles, then he can argue he needs more bodies. It's a dick-swinging move and mostly just destroys sailors' sleep schedule as they shift from days to nights then back again. So after complaining all night Monday, I am a sailor after all, that's what we do best, I came to work Tuesday ready to maliciously comply. I picked one jet and I wrote up everything I could find. 5 scratches on one landing gear. 5 separate maintenance actions. All of the jack points are scratched up. Well, that's 3 separate actions right there. Scratches through the pilot's name? Each letter gets its own maintenance action, possibly my favorite. Come Friday night, that jet had almost 3 pages of outstanding paint jobs waiting on it. This jet is going on a detachment Monday, and all of these have to be finished before it leaves. Everyone leaves except my shop, which is me and 3 other people, the Chief Know Nothing, and maintenance admin. I had prepped my guys for a long night, and I gave maintenance admin a heads up cause I'm not a monster. You see, the issue with the system that processes our maintenance actions is we could only be in work on one maintenance action at a time. I couldn't be a worker though as I inspected their work, so I would put all 3 of my guys in work, wait for them to finish those 3 jobs, inspect those 3 jobs, take them out of work on those 3, then put them in work on 3 new jobs while I left the first ones to dry. I can't remember an exact number of how many jobs we had, but after starting at 1,600 we finished painting around 0430. Then we went in the shop and signed off every single one of those jobs on one computer, which was completed around 0515. and sent over to the chief know-nothing and our maintenance admin to finalize. I sent my guys home, and then waited around for chief to call me into maintenance control to sign for tools. That call came around 0645 from a very disgruntled chief know-nothing who had some not nice things to say about how I ruined his weekend plans. Monday morning I get a call from my chief, still a terrible middle manager, but one that fights for me, asking why the hell I worked till nearly 0700 on Saturday. So I explained we wrote up every paint job. Each individual paint job got its own maintenance action as per chief know-nothing's request. After my chief finished laughing, he told me to show up early tonight, so we can figure out a new system. That new system, the same one that worked for the last 2 years without any issues. Well, you never said not to wear orange. I will never forget my favorite malicious compliance from my private school days. For some important background, I went to a very strict religious school, and though I was also religious, Catholic, I was not the same religion as the headmaster and founders, Baptist. They did not like me from day one and made it clear. I wanted to play soccer, but they only had a men's team. All the girls here play volleyball, why don't you try that? I didn't want to play volleyball, I had played soccer for 10 years at that point. I wanted to play popular Christian rock songs for music ministry, and was told that we weren't allowed to play that devil worship music. Tons of stuff like that. I was in the office more than once, despite being a mild-mannered freshman. Another important note is that at this time, I had a pretty, we'll call it punk style, I guess. I did a lot of shopping at PacSun, Hot Topic, and most of what I owned was black. Normal teen stuff. I also had very, very long brown hair that would often fall in my face. Think Violet from the first half of The Incredibles. This will be important. Things continued to get worse over the next 2 years. Finally, at the beginning of my junior year, I was called into the guidance office. The headmaster, guidance counselor, and my English teacher were there for an intervention. Mrs. English, Luckybug, we're very concerned about you. You don't seem to be very social. Are you happy? Are you having dark thoughts? Me, I'm perfectly happy and I have a ton of friends. What made you think there was something wrong? Headmaster, we're all just a little concerned about how you present yourself. Me, what is that supposed to mean? Mrs. English, interrupting loudly, well, it's probably because you dress in all black, baggy clothes, and your hair is always in your face. It'd be nice if we could see you smile and know you're all right. Me, what's wrong with wearing black? I just feel comfortable in these clothes. Plus, the baggy pants aren't that baggy and they help me avoid accidentally breaking the pants must not be skin tight rule in the dress code. And I'm proud of my long hair. It's taken me years to get it this long. I'm perfectly happy, I'm just wearing what I like the most. Headmaster, well, we'd like to see you wearing happier looking outfits. You really should make an effort to fit in among your peers. Mrs. English, and you should try wearing more happy colors. Wearing harsh blacks will only make us wonder how you're doing. It's safe to say I was horribly insulted. Wearing black didn't make me suicidal, and I had a great life at that point. So, cue the malicious compliance. I spent the next few days investigating, waiting for the nugget of information that would make this compliance so sweet, juicy if you will. Finally, my English teacher says offhandedly, while insulting yet another student, I just hate the color orange. It's such an unbearably ugly color. There it was. My plan was ready. I filled my closet with orange, bright orange top, striped orange jacket, puffy orange vest. My favorite was a iridescent, fluorescent orange rain jacket. Honestly, I don't like the color orange either. But I did what I had to do. So, almost every day for the rest of junior year, I wore an orange shirt and pulled back my long hair to make it even more visible. Then, I sat in the front center seat of Mrs. English's class, and made her stare at my bright orange shirt. I could see the disdain in her face every time. A few of my friends got in on it occasionally too. After about a month, she made a comment about how it was nice to see me putting some more variety in my wardrobe, but why did I have to pick orange? I just said, well, you didn't want me to wear black anymore. But isn't orange a great color? And I didn't stop wearing orange until the end of the year. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.